I think the current trend in vampire fiction, be it TV or books or whatever, is mostly the romantic or melodramatic vampire fiction. And I think that's because vampire fiction allows people to dream of romantic relationships with essentially otherworldly beings like dark angels. The Strain, contrary to all that, explores the other facet of vampirism, which is the brutal, repulsive parasite, the creature that is here as a spiritual and physical anomaly. So the danger of the vampires in the Strain is not that they're going to take you out for dinner and return you home late. They are going to take you out as dinner and never return you home. I have a few books that I really depend on that I can recommend for people to get some knowledge of vampire lore. And these are books that were fundamental for me. My favorite of them was this, Passport to the Supernatural. It really traps you. It's almost like literary fiction in how well it's told. It tells you a lot of things about vampires in Eastern Europe, in ancient times, Mesopotamic legend, Greek, Roman, Mexico, Latin America, India. You know, he goes through all the lands and every permutation of vampirism known to man. Then this one, which is also very good, is The Natural History of the Vampire by Anthony Masters. But it's a really good book. Again, it classifies vampire lore all through the ages. It tries to find its place as a biological creature, and it kind of tracks it through the ages and through times. And this, which is probably my favorite. I mean, there are some really great ones. Vampire, His Kith and Kin, The Vampire in Europe. Both are really good texts. But this one is Dom Agustin Calmet, who was a biblical scholar. But he published this in response to the vampire plague and craze and panic in Europe at the time. And he's incredibly dry and matter of fact. So everything he tells you sounds like fact and sounds so real that it makes it very, very scary. This book's influenced greatly on the Strain in the sense that, for example, Eastern European vampires have a stinger under the tongue, which is a detail that makes it into the Strain. All the old mythology of vampirism has one thing in common that I love, and that is in the Strain, and that is the engorgement of the corpse. You know, how the corpse bloats and gets flushed with blood, and you know, this gives them like a tick-like function, a parasitic function that always freaked me out as a kid. So all these things and more in these books that I highly recommend. I like monsters because they're the ultimate outcast, but also because in the case of vampires, the vampires I like, they can be seen either as a pariah, like the ultimate outcast in Kronos, or such an outlandish alien force, like in the Strain, that you can actually animalize them. You can make them as fierce and as neutral as a lion or a tiger feeding, or you can imbue them with a sense of evil, a true sense of purpose and evil. It's a multi-value symbol, the vampire. I think The Strain is perhaps the first novel dealt with biology and chemistry. The second novel, to me, starts hinting at the origins, and it is my hope that the third book, which would be the largest book in the trilogy and the hardest one to write, entirely reinvents the whys and the whens and the hows and the whats of everything that we have come to consider classical vampire lore. The garlic, the mirror, you know, we're doing it step by step. The third one is a big, big step.